What's going on? Welcome to QVO Games. My name is Juan. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much. This video is going to be about the games coming to retail week of February 11th. We have some cool games coming out, and I'm excited to talk about them. Let's get this video going because I believe we can hit that 10-minute mark and keep it nice, short, and sweet, and get you the information on games, and we can talk about some fun stuff. All right, awesome. Keep in mind, I'm covering the games coming to retail in the US. Also, keep in mind, if a game's retail release date changes, I'll make sure to update about that change in its new respective video. Let's get to games. Let's start talking about some great stuff. All right, first game is going to be Evolution: Another World, coming out on February 13th by QVO Games. In this game is based off actually in the same universe as another Evolution game. I'll show you that a little bit later, how that looks. However, I do like the box art a lot for the Evolution game. I see it all the time when I go to my local board game store, and it looks really, really cool. I love the art on the box cover. So in this game actually caught my surprise. I was really, really surprised by this. It seems like a lot of fun. And when I was reading like the rules and how the plays and all that stuff and the overview, it seems like a really, really cool game. It's a lighter family game. Keep that in mind. I'm going to scroll down here, but you're going to see these cards here. So in the game, your goal is to evolutionize or like kind of evolve 3 different characters. And you do that or 3 animals, and you do that by creatures, animals, characters, creatures. Let's say creatures. And you do so by putting these little gems here on your cards. As you put these little token pieces on there, you're going to get to the 4th one, of course, and you're going to evolve. And you do 3 characters this way. But keep it in mind, your characters do different actions. You can have different abilities with them, and you're going to do so by looking at these cards here in front of you. So, like for example, let's look at the Astro one on the left. You can slide that in on top of your character, and now the ability is a part of your character that can do that. So you can do a little bit of combo, which is kind of neat. And then there's a little bit of take that with other players and attacking other players, which is pretty cool. I don't know. I just thought it was gonna be like a different style of game when I looked at it, and I was kind of interesting. And after you attack, you put a little rested token on there, and that's kind of like the small overview of the game. It's a pretty light family casual style game, and it has amazing art on the cards. I really love how that looks. This is gonna be, by the way, this is from their crowdfunding campaign, and this is like just kind of the graphic off there that we're scrolling down on. This game was on crowdfunding, and now it's coming out to you in retail. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit more just to see a little bit more. Keep in mind, some of these tokens and stuff may be from the Kickstarter, and some of them may not be. However, that's basically the game. And I was explaining earlier that farther down, I'm going to show you what the original game looks like. Evolution New World is what it looks like. I love. I don't know. I love that style of art where like it looks like almost. It's hard for me to explain this specific thing. I'm not sure actually how to talk about it properly. It almost just looks like a stencil, almost like some like penciled in, like it's like a pencil art, and then of course colored in with like some type of like pen or either like some type of colored pencil almost. I love colored pencil art. It looks really, really well done. And then of course the Evolution of the World, the art just looks a little more like it was on a computer for sure. They could both probably were done on a computer, but the right one just looks a little more digitized. Evolution of the World, Evolution New World. So Evolution of the World is coming out to February 13th, but however, they have the older game as well called Evolution New World, which I am not too sure about. I haven't looked into that one yet. Check it out. Evolution of the World coming out to you on February 13th by QVO Games. Moving on, February 14th is going to be Dark Souls, the board game, the Sunless City core set by Steam Forged Games. Interesting stuff here. So apparently this kind of introduces or reintroduces the original Dark Souls board game that came out a couple years ago by Steam Forge, and they actually grabbed all the feedback from the community and they reshaped the game with a better system, better rules and such, new gameplay and campaign and counter system. I'm assuming to make it more player friendly. This is going to be a 1 to 3 player dungeon crawler game. Based off the Dark Souls universe. If you don't know what Dark Souls is, it's a video game, Soulsborne video game. I actually have played the video game. I have a lot of fun playing it. I'm not very good at those games though, but I did have fun playing that game. In this game, the coolest thing about this is that I do enjoy and love cooperative dungeon crawler games. That is like a really big thing for me. And this game comes with a bunch of cool miniatures, which I love minis. I love them so much. They seems like they really kept the heart of the game and they just kind of revamped it a little bit. So I'm not going to go too deep into detail about the gameplay itself. Just keep in mind it's a dungeon crawler, it's a cooperative game with really cool miniatures. That is the biggest thing. It does come at a hefty price tag, but when you have a bunch of cool plastics, I mean, hey, that's kind of what it comes down to. I do wonder if they're going to redo everything, right? Like all the expansion stuff, or if it's possible to even or even to like just introduce and plug in other expansions from the older game, because I actually do own, oddly enough, and I have it stored in a box because I do love the miniatures, and I haven't got around to playing it either. But the Dark Souls, I have like the original game with a couple of expansions, and this basically just reintroduces the game. And I'm interested. I love cooperative games. I love the Dark Souls universe, and I love dungeon crawlers. So I'm gonna check. I'm interested. I'm curious. I might check it out. This is coming out to you. Dark Souls the board game by Steamforged Games. It's coming out to you on February 14th. Coming up next by Jap Anime Games, coming out to you on February 14th, is Heiki Strike. I may be saying that wrong, and I apologize. I think it's Heiki Strike. In this game, it's a little bit of like a head-to-head dueling game, right? You're gonna have it's a deck building game. Your goal is to basically exhaust your enemy's resources and have them drain their deck 3 times so they lose. But as they drain their deck, they're gaining more resources. So as you drain them, they can also have the advantage to drain you as well, but they get a little more resources. It's very straightforward, a little bit of base building, very, very small, a lot of cards, of course, and deck building mechanics. That's really the big gist of the game. A little bit of area control. If you look in the middle here on this picture, you're going to be controlling here. You're going to have action points. You're going to do like, oh, you do X amount of actions, you play X amount of cards, do X amount of abilities and such. It's interesting. This game was on Kickstarter as well. Not Kickstarter. It was on crowdfunding. One of the crowdfunding platforms, and now it's coming out to you to retail. Looks cool. There's not really much news or much reviews on this game. I really couldn't find anything to begin with. I have noticed that some people really seem to enjoy it though, from the small amount of reviews I've seen. That's really the gist of it. Japan Anime makes a lot of like using a lot of anime style art or even like anime IPs to make their games. I don't know. Check it out. I'm curious. I want to just give it a shot and see how it is. This is Heiki Strike by Japan Anime Games, coming out to you on February 14th. Moving on to Robo Rally Master Builder Expansion by Renegade Games, coming out to you on February 15th. This is just an expansion to the Robo Rally game. I actually talked about this game not so long ago. I think about like 2-3 months ago. This expansion just adds in a couple of new ways to build out maps and some new mechanics to throw into those map building as well. So in Robo Rally, it's kind of like a action programming robot style like dueling battle game, not dueling, just battle. Your goal is to basically outdo your opponent and push them off the edge and get them out of the game. And the cool thing about it, unique thing, is like you can also even build your own maps, right? So you can have your own obstacles going on and stuff, which is pretty neat. I don't think I've seen that a lot. Usually just get like preset maps, but you can build out your whole map and make it really loony and wacky and with like twists and turns and moving platforms and moving walkways and such that make it so like it just makes it harder when you're programming and doing all that stuff. Or even more interesting, right? You can combo up and move. It's pretty interesting. It's an interesting thing, an interesting game. This is just an expansion that comes into it. If you have the original game, try it out and see if you maybe want the expansion, add some more if you need more. This is Robo Rally Master Builder expansion coming out to you on February 15th. Moving on to Arkham Horror, the Feast of Hemlock Vale campaign and Investigator expansion coming out on February 16th. 2 separate things, by the way, keep that in mind. I just want to loop them together because they're both Arkham Horror, the card game, and they both go into, they're the same thing. They're not the same thing. They're 2 separate boxes. One's a campaign, one's an Investigator expansion. I just looped them together. We're talking about them together because it's simple that way. I talk about these games a lot. I am a big fan of like living card games and such like that. I really do enjoy like Marvel Champions. I enjoy Arkham Horror as well. I think it's a lot of fun. Just keep in mind when you're playing Arkham Horror, you can't really just play a scenario. Usually you have to have that group to play through the whole campaign, depending on whichever campaign you have it be this one, a previous one. And that's like kind of I do enjoy it. I do enjoy them a lot. I love playing this game. However, usually finding a group who is going to play 4 or 5 sessions back to back, or like, 4, depending on the campaign, 4 or 3 sessions sometimes back to back is tough. And that's the hardest thing for me, is that in other living card games like Marvel Champions, I can just like, we'll play against a simple villain, boom, 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 we're done. Usually in this, you have to play like a scenario, a series of scenarios to play through the whole thing. However, nonetheless, if you like Cthulhu, if you like all those style of Cthulhu, there's actually a genre. If you like Arkham Horror, and if you like horror-based games, along with mythics and mythos and all that stuff, this game is going to be in your alley, and it is pretty cool. It has a deck building aspect and such like that. I talk about this game a lot, so I'm not going to go too deep in detail. However, keep in mind the Investigator expansion that's here is going to be just characters and new characters to play, which is always fun. And there's also the campaign expansion, which gives you basically some new set of scenarios to play through. I like it. I like this game. But however, this is an expansion. You need a base game to play. Get the base game, try that out. If you don't like it, you don't like it, and then don't buy the expansion. This is gonna come out to it's Arkham Horror, the card game, the Feast of Hemlock, Vale, Investigator, and Campaign Expansion coming out to you on February 16th. Awesome. We're at the end of the video. Thank you for watching the video, making it this far. That is super cool that you're listening to a random dude who just wants to talk about games. And yeah, he posts a video every week for games coming to retail. Thank you for watching, making this fun video. I love that. Thank you so much. If you made it this far into the video, if you don't mind dropping a comment, like, or subscribe, let me know in the comment section. What game are you picking up this week? Is it going to be one that we mentioned here? Is it one that you've been saving up your money for? Maybe a different one that you've been kind of looking at in your game store? Let me know. I would like to talk about it. I would like to talk about games, and I want to know more about what you're buying and what you're purchasing. Awesome. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. Have a good one.